Good answer. You heard an answer. And he's like, well, that's a good answer. I'm going to tell it. Well, yes, in back. Oh, I'm sorry. I couldn't hear you. Okay.
Trials and tribulations. It does say in the Bible that he does test the faithful to make them come closer to him.
Good. So, hey, all right. There's another side to the story, maybe. She was just taught a certain thing, but there's other things that could go along with it, right? Good. Anyone else? Yes?
Blessings come in many different forms.
Okay, blessings come in many different forms. All right. Yes?
I learned the concept of rice Christian from my wife who taught in a Christian school in Hong Kong. And that concept is not just known in the Orient. It's here. But the solution for the rice Christian concept is from another Oriental, Job, who said, though he slay me, yet will I trust him.
Okay. All right. TJ.
In a situation like that, I would have to say, first of all, I'm sorry that people have misled you. I know how easy it is to see it like that, and how easy it can be to look at our spiritual life and God as a formula, mathematical, think if I do this, I get that.
Okay.
But what I have learned is that it's more like my regular relationship with people. As I was saying here, when we love someone, we all know what people in love should be doing with each other. They should be talking with kindness, they should be doing about all that. But the reality is that sometimes the person you love does things that hurt you. Or when they hurt you, you want to lash out. So it's not a formulaic thing. And I've learned that when I try to create a formula for God, I get disappointed every time. And so I'm sorry that that's what people led you to believe that it is formula related.
Okay. So you apologize for whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
And just simply, I would love to sit down and talk more about this.
Okay. You know, I did that. I'm going to keep going. I did that with her, and actually I gave your answer and your answer and your answer, and in a whole different sort of way. But just like, you know, there might be another way to look at it. And then, you know, she was a little bit, I'll just say this. The things that she had been taught or whatever else about God really became foolish to her. And he became foolish to her because he became not real, based upon the truth and the understanding that she had. And eventually, it was foolish. It was stupid, and he did not exist. And there was a lot of pain in her face, and a lot of pain, and so I just like to probe and climb and get in and talk to people and understand exactly what's going on and where they're hurting, and where they're hurting in relationships and those things, and share some positive things. Anyway, it was pretty cool at the end of the story to see her face change and to see hope in her eyes again, where she didn't have any. I mean, she came very cynical, and she was like, okay, where do you go to church? I want to come visit.
Oh, good.
Her name's Melinda. Pray for her. Because she's hurting. And she's wanting to figure it out. And wanting to be a part of some place where she's accepted for who she is. And even though her beliefs might be different, she's at least willing to learn something else. Foolishness, stumbling blocks. Those things are, as we talked about when Paul was reading and stuff like that, to me it's very practical because the Jews believed that in order to gain salvation and really understand God and know Him, you had to, the script would say, or the scribe would say, you need to keep that law. The other Jew might say they believed in miracles and signs and wonders, which is why when Jesus was there, it was like, show us a sign and we'll believe. Show us a sign and we'll believe. Show us this God and we'll believe. And oftentimes our religion becomes just that way, doesn't it? If I'm obedient, He'll bless me. If He does this for me, well, I'll even believe more. If you do this, I'll believe this much more. My faith will grow. And He says, I didn't tell you any of that stuff. I just told you about Jesus Christ. And that He was crucified for your life. And if you believe that, you'll be a new person. That's what I told you. And so they start to get off on all these other tangents. And then He says, And then he's talking about, and the Greeks at the time, well, they were more into argumentation, oratory, clever sayings and speeches, and they believed that in order to, I'll say, gain a higher knowledge, well, having a higher knowledge sort of maybe would get you the understanding. And God says, all those ways are completely foolish. I'm going to pick a really simple way where you don't have to do anything. You don't have to attain to a higher knowledge. You don't have to be obedient. Just believe in this. That He came, He died, He rose again. And He will give you new life. Over and over again. That's what He was talking about. That some people accept and some others, some don't. Some accept and some don't. And for some, the cross and Jesus Christ is completely foolish. Raise your hand if you think it's foolish this morning. Yeah. I mean, sometimes it's like, it doesn't make any sense. You stop and think about it. And that's where the Greeks had a huge problem. Okay, God came down to earth and He died on a cross. And that's how I'm saved. And I can go to heaven. And it's in a Bible. Written by a bunch of guys. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, it's like, wow. And so they have a hard time. It's like, so it's foolishness. But, if I could go back to verse 18, if you guys could go there, because I think this is extremely practical for us. In this one sense, chapter 1, verse 18. For the message of the cross is foolishness to those who are perishing. Okay, the message is foolish. Not the preacher, because I'm not foolish, am I? I never make a fool of myself up front. Nothing like that.
Whatever.
No one can say that. But the content of the message for some is ridiculous. And this goes for someone who might call himself a Christian also. Because there's that big but that gets in the way. That says, I need to do this, or I need to do that to earn favor, or I need to earn salvation. But I should do but. The message of the cross is foolishness to those who are perishing. Right? But to us who are being saved, it is the power of God. It is not about the power of God. The message of the cross is not about the power that God has. It is the power of God. And when you stop and think about that, and you think of that message, for some reason, God has put power in that message, and what He did, and therefore we go accepting that message, it becomes very powerful in our lives. Because it's powerful enough, just that story in itself, to give salvation. According to the Bible, you can believe something else if you'd like to, it's okay. But it's powerful enough to give you salvation. And from my own experience, it's powerful enough to change a life. To where I'm saved, and I'm being saved, and I will be saved.
Amen.
It's a constant, process thing. Something that He's doing. That's powerful. Because my life would not be what it is today unless some sort of power took over my life.